Alrighty guys, okay, so I've actually been waiting to make this video this entire day, bro. Okay, I was pretty excited to get to this, so I hope that y'all really like this series. But you read the title, we're gonna get into it. So we're going to be going over your Daybreak hot takes. Now these hot takes are either going to involve the game, Daybreak community, something to do with Daybreak. I don't know what you guys got in store because I literally did. I have not read any of them on purpose, so I give like an exact opinion off the rip, so I can give y'all like the idea, right? So anyways, before we get into it, I want to mention that if I probably might end up doing this again, if you want to be featured in one of these videos with your hot take or whatever, join the Discord server, and then give down your hot take or whatever. Get to it. Link is always going to be in the description or my about. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the first one. Okay, so the first one here is by the lovely Corin himself. It says, my hot take is that Android is overpowered and the red light disappearing for a bit after the kicking gen is insane. Literally all my rounds against Android ends up in the worst way possible. In quotations. In parentheses. Oh, well, it's not quotations, but you get my point. Skill issue elbozo. I thought seeing gen progress would have been enough in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about this one. I don't even think Android is anywhere near close to being like broken or whatever. I feel like his buffs were definitely warranted and necessary to help him out because he was a pretty bad killer for a while. Like, he wasn't like the worst killer, but he wasn't like the best. It's just like there was just way better options, especially when it came to gen locking. Gen locking killers are already some of the worst category of killers, but I get what you mean by it though, but I don't think it's broken. I think that the red light thing being hidden just ends up being annoying at times. I've only ever had an annoyance for it and never like thought that it was just really broken. I just always thought that it was extremely annoying at times, especially on shifty stations. That him holding that gen lock and shifty is really nasty. Now I don't know how bad it is in the back alley, in like the back half of shifty stations, because I've only ever really seen the gen lock that happens by the stairs, you know, the one by the stairs and the escalator and that gen up there, right? I only know about that one, but I assume back in the back alleyway it can be pretty nasty too, being able to hide your terror radius like that. So I don't really think that he's necessarily broken with it. I just think that it's just been annoying, but I don't think it needs to be changed. It's just, a killer can be annoying, it just is what it is. Okay, the next one quite literally freaking says, I hate 90% of the community. Okay, it is so true. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so the next person said, I'm going to do my best to keep the ones that are strictly talking about the community and not the game people hidden. Whether, I don't know if they want to be said or not. I mean, in the future, I'll just ask. But as of right now, I'm going to just assume they would rather not be. Not like they really cared, but I'm gonna hide these people out. I feel as though the feedback and suggestions channel needs to be removed because they don't take the time to look at good ideas, but rather the ones that make the game worse. And I can agree with this to a sort. I do feel like they don't spend enough time looking into the suggestions that are actually trying to benefit the game over the suggestions that are just causing more harm to the game. I get that the game has more casual players than good players, but let's go ahead and look at every other asymmetrical horror game. That's literally all of them. They always are going to have more casual players. Every game's going to always have more casual players over competitive players, depending on the type of game. That's just true. But catering towards the casuals more isn't helping the balance of the game because they play it casually. They're not benefiting the half of the game. This game, I won't say too much about it because this game isn't meant to have a ranked system. Most of those games have ranked systems, so they have to benefit towards the ranked people because they're supposed to be a more competitive game. But I will say, like, when it comes to a balancing standpoint, please, with the almighty Lord, actually look at good suggestions or at least take time to read them, because I feel like they read them and just clown them afterwards. Read them and actually think about it, or think about why that shouldn't need. And if you don't agree, tell us why you don't agree. I swear there's so many times where they just flat out and be like, "L no, nerd, blah blah blah." Bitch, why the fuck not? Why don't you agree? Tell us that shit. But anyways, let's get into the next one. So the next one is by Gribble. It says they didn't look at my Terry Joe skin for Sanjana's suggestion. It was super good. Okay. Anyways. So the next one says, the developers, in my opinion, are not taking their game seriously. The skins are low quality and effort. See, skins have always been like a thingy. Some skins look good, other skins don't look good. So, because I will agree that there are skins that are just beyond, like, they're just, it's like, what were you sipping this day? And then you got skins that are like why don't they look like this every day? So it's just like, yeah, it's whatever. But when it comes to like taking their game seriously, I feel like they take the game seriously. It's just that they're not taking it serious enough. All right, they taking it seriously, but they could get to another level if you catch my drift. Anyways, next one, go ahead and says, in my opinion, Cronsby and Anais are really bad if killer. Sorry, Zenny. First off, I don't play Cronsby, but already really bad if the killer doesn't kick gens, cause then they are mostly useless. And I agree. As an Anais main, been playing her for a while since her release. As an Anais main, I have had so many games where my perk was just completely useless because the killer wasn't going around kicking gens at all. Now, I am a gen rusher main, and I've gotten really good at avoiding the killer in general, so I guess that could be the case. But I mean, there really has been times, even with Cronsby perk, where it's like I don't get my value out of it because either the killer doesn't kick a gen, or whenever they do kick a gen, my teammates come in and snatch it. So I agree with this. They're like, if the killer isn't doing anything, they are the worst survivors to have on the field, other than their gen stats. But gen stats aren't the only thing they had going for them. They just become really boring, I would say. I wouldn't say useless, I guess. I would just say they become really boring if you don't get to really use your ability. Anyways, get into the next one. Unnecessary changes are made when the game-changing stuff could be done, but they don't give a shit about that because they think we want to swap out heads and clothings with shit instead of making the game more balanced and having good fucking skins. Okay, so this is a lot to cover already, so let's go ahead and get into it. So unnecessary changes, I do agree. I do feel like they make a lot of unnecessary changes. There's been plentiful of times where killers or survivors have been changed when there was zero need to do so. No one was complaining about them. Literally no one was complaining about them, but they just receive a change. Like, let's go ahead and talk about Warden and all of them. I mean, I know that they've like built up and all that stuff, but like, let's be real here. It's really not necessary. We didn't need them to be snatched out, and then you're removing Warden. But then getting into the skin swap situation, because I see a lot of people talk about this. I'm not against this, because personally, I'm on Brenda's side when it comes to this. Y'all like to talk shit all the time about my skins. Yeah, make them better, whatever. So how about y'all make the skins then? If you want better skins, take the skins you have now and mix match, do what you want to do. Since I can't win, you know, I just feel like that's the mindset that she kind of went with. I can't win, so here, y'all have to hell with it. To hell with it. I don't give a fuck. So it's like I kind of agree. Shit, just to hell with it. But anyways, into the next one. Sanjana isn't as good as people make her out to be. I don't really agree with this because I'm a Sanjana main. I don't agree with this. Sanjana, if you're actually timing your ability on point, getting it done, she is pretty hard to find. She's quite literally another Adriana or Sarah on the field. That's pretty hard to find. And on top of that, she gives info about everything. She basically gets an off-brand Cora perk with a revive that she gives to the teammate as well that she revives. So I really don't think that she is as bad. I mean, her gen is not as big or nothing, but she can still survive and chase. She is pretty good in my opinion because she does things on the low without you knowing, and it makes it harder for the killer to find her. And then God forbid you're going against her on a hospital or something where stealthy survivors can do really well and escape the killer pretty easily. So I don't really agree with this, Uriel, but yeah. Alright, so the next person says, in my opinion, Idol and Rat are the worst killers because they are so killer-sided. So I've seen a lot of people say that the rat isn't that good. Personally, I disagree heavily with that statement. They're like, oh, his lunge is pretty bad and all that stuff. I have yet to have a really bad game with the rat. Like real stuff, I really have yet to have a really bad game with the rat. I don't think the rat is that bad. I feel like everything else, benefits. I don't know, it could be because, I played Void Skulk, so I'm used to the type of playstyle because his playstyle is similar, and not like completely the same or even really like absolutely close, but it's got some of its similarities that I've learned to build off of. So I don't think necessarily the rat is as bad as people make them out to be, and I can see where you say killer sided because they can hold a pretty nasty gen lock, but I wouldn't say that they're killer sided. And Idol, on the other hand, I can see what you mean by Idol seems so killer sided because like it's so dumb that he gets all that speed and then gets a volt speed behind it. It's just like so stupid. I'm sorry, but Idol is just really dumb. But I don't really think that the killers are necessarily killer sided. I don't think like they're necessarily killer sided at all. But yeah. So anyways, Uriel again says Cronsby is ass because my teammates or because your teammates never actually care and just make your perk useless. I agree. Cronsby's pretty ass. Like honestly, just play NEs. Just don't play Cronsby because NEs at least like you don't have to hope that your teammates don't do fuck ups. But unless you're in comms as Cronsby, it just doesn't work out. It really doesn't, sadly. So yeah, I would agree. NEs is just better though. I mean, even though that's not what you said, I would just say NEs is just better because you don't have to rely on your teammates to not fuck up 24/7. And again, you have to rely on the killer to kick the gens and it's all that extra stuff. Cronsby is just really weird, honestly. I don't know. Change the perk up a bit, I guess. I don't know. Do what you want to do. But I do feel like he's pretty bad. I don't think he's ass, but I don't think that he's really that good for real. Because, you have to rely on your teammates not to fuck up, which is just terrible design in my opinion. So getting into the next one, Mike says, Serena is the best survivor in my opinion. Why did you put a comma there? Should you put a comma there? Bitch, I don't pass English. Okay, I ain't no English nigga, alright? I'm gonna tell y'all that right the fuck now. Do not expect English coming from me. But I read that with that comma right there, and that just didn't sound right. I don't know. Anyways, she has good, consistent info that is always valuable at times. So you need it with the added benefit of being able to counter ghosts. Blood phase, and her stats are good too. She has looping stats, great stealth, 4 repair, which is kind of shit, but it's pretty good for a looper, and can function as a healer if you need to. Overall, a very good survivor. 10 out of 10 would recommend buying if you can. Alright, I wouldn't say Serena comes close to being the best survivor, but I would say Serena does have that good all-around value. That we need, that it seems like every survivor that becomes an all-arounder gets completely heavily nerfed or something. It happened with Yvonne, but Yvonne kind of needed it. And then it happened with Song or So Young, however you say it. Happened with her too. She was a good all-arounder, and then they just kind of stripped that from her, which is like, alrighty. Anyways. But Serena, I will say, is a good all-arounder though, for sure. I would recommend buying her if you are newer. I would, because good chase stats, decent repair, and on top of that has the healing stats like you mentioned. And then the constant, consistent info whenever a killer kicks a gen. Boom, you know where you get that info, and then you can track the survivor because they leave behind a trail, and then let the killer be a ghost. Woohoo! You are by far the best ghost counter. So, I just dropped my phone. I'm reading these off my phone, y'all. But, yeah. So, I agree that Serena is a all-arounder. A good all-arounder, probably the best one in the game. But I wouldn't say they're the best survivor. I would still say that there's, like, better options, in my opinion. But you do you. Okay, from Uriel again, and we were just talking about this too. The So Young nerf wasn't needed. I agree, it really wasn't needed. I don't think So Young was that OP. If they had 5 repair, I'd have just said put it down to 4. But other than that, I really don't feel like she was that much of a problem. I never had a problem with her. I don't know why they decided to nerf her at all. She really didn't need that nerf. That's just me though, but there's not much I really gotta talk about for that one. I would just agree, she didn't need it. Anyways, getting into our next one, in my opinion, Empress is a press E to win killer. Sorry, Zenny. Don't say sorry. I've been saying that shit since the day ends and days out, hun. Do not say sorry to me. I agree heavily on this shit. I've been saying it. Bro, I've said it in like I've said it on a bunch on Asian streams. I've said it a bunch in the suggestions channel. I've said it a bunch in my channel. I said it in my latest video that mentioned Empress. So yeah, I agree. That girl is not press E to win fucking Chase. I agree heavily. This ain't a hot take. This is just a factual statement, babes. It's just true. Anyways, next one. Bro, I swear to God, the devs don't listen to people. People legit said nerf this killer and buff this one. Hey, shit. It's true. We be saying this killer, we be saying said character is fine. They go and nerf or buff said character. It's like, what are you doing? This character, killer, survivor, whatever the fuck you want to say. We telling you they don't need changes. Why are you changing them? They're like, what are you doing? I can see that. I don't even think that's really a hot take for real either. I just feel like that's just a true statement. We see it every single day. They make these changes that were definitely not necessary or needed. So I agree 100 on this. Okay, coming from the next person, they said the devs are sensitive when it comes to criticism and might as well just remove the feedback and suggestions channel. I'm not gonna lie, this is true. I would say don't bring Brenda into it. Sometimes. I would say probably some of the other devs, I'm not gonna say names, but I would say some of the other devs, and sometimes Brenda, this does fall under, because it does seem like every time you do end up giving feedback or suggestions or like criticisms to the game, it seems like all of a sudden, oh, don't be mean, or oh, that's a problem. No, it's criticism. Sorry, but criticism isn't supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be the hard truth. We gotta tell you what you need to know to fix and improve on it. So yes, when people give or critique a certain thing about a certain character, don't get upset about them. Like for example, when it comes to the stories situations, a couple of people in my community were having a talk about this the other day. They were feeling like how the lore just there's not enough to it. You're not giving us enough, and you're shaping a lot of characters based around a relationship or something else. Like, let's take Cora, for example. I love Cora from the day in and day out, but I just feel like her character is so shaped around the death of her mother. I feel like there could be more for her. I mean, I'm glad in the, in her latest memory, when we had that one, that actually gave more to her character and gave us more too about the mist. I loved that. I like that. Like, let's do that more with characters, but they're already trying to do other things now with the lore, so I'm not going to get in deep into that because it's not really about that. But I will agree that it just feels like at times that it's just, why have a feedback and suggestions channel if you can't take your feedback or suggestion, you know? Right. Okay, anyways, next person says, Brenda needs to hire more people to help her code and playtest stuff. Like, Miss Girl, you promised us Star Eater so many months ago. Okay, so hold up. I had to burp. Damn. Anyways, sorry guys. Got a little bit gassy right there. Anyways, one thing I'm gonna say is that they never did technically promise us that they were gonna come that time. They were just giving dates. I'm gonna just say that because if you were to go say this to Brenda, she's gonna tell you the same shit. And to be honest, it kind of was true. She never did give an exact release date. She just gave times to look forward to, because that was probably gonna be the time that it would be dropping. But I will agree with the first half of your hot take, saying that Brenda needs to hire more coders and playtest stuff. Yes, she does. Honestly, the only people she would need to hire are coders. People like me, Ancient, like quite literally any of the content creators or any of the high level people would gladly for free playtest her game to help it be better. But she's not gonna do this. I'm pretty sure Ancient has asked her before and she was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Again, if Brenda ever changes her mind, if you're even watching this, I doubt you are, hey, hit us up. We're right, like literally we are willing to help you test this game out because the testing really don't be going right. And also please hire another coder. We need these updates pushed out. Like they're not moving at the right pace. Like they get on track and then they leave. And then on top of that, we be sitting there waiting so long for changes. But anyways, let's go ahead and stop right there. Let's get to the next one. Hold up guys, before we get into the next one, I'm kinda damn, oh, water just hit different. I'm sorry. Anyways, getting to the next one. Yogurt says, if Javier was pretty, most people would not care that he's being shit with Daejung. If you go on even the wiki, you'll see comments of people calling him ugly and being mad that he has that his crush / boyfriend today. Oh, that he is the bitch. Can I fucking read today? Damn. That he's the crush or boyfriend today. I don't know what else to say other than most Daybreak ships kind of suck. And I don't understand how the removal of memories, I think they didn't finish. Oh, no, I don't understand the removal of memories. I didn't read it right. Anyways, get into it. Okay, first off, I understand the removal of memories. People, the lore just is all over the fucking place. And memories are always catered towards the most, like the populars. All right, it's only ever catered towards the popular people, you know? So I do feel like that just needed to go and they needed to work on a new way to do it because it was always catered towards them. But the other half, you're probably right. Honestly, if he didn't look ugly, people probably wouldn't care. Personally, I don't really pay attention too much to the Daybreak ships. I mean, I know about most of, if not all of them, but I really don't give a fuck because fuck shipping, like quite literally the most stupid ass shit ever. Literally just dumb. If it's just not canon, it's not canon, it's ugly. Simple. Anyways, like I was saying though, I can see that, but already there's already a bias to when it comes to men in this game. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, let's be real here, guys. There's already I said a bias, there's not a bias, but there's blatant sexism at times against men. I know that he's gay and not straight, but I mean, you'll see it way more with the straight ones. But if the dude don't look hot, then it's just a problem. That it's just as simple as that. If they're not hot or don't have like some cute little personality trait to them, then people do not give a fuck. And I guess we clearly can see that with Javier. I don't know much about Javier, but yeah, I don't really fucks with shipping altogether. I don't even like Day. I'm gonna be honest, one of my least favorite characters in this game, to be honest, but that's just me though. Okay, so now I want to get into some specific ones that were brought to me that I asked by my good friend Demon. Well, I don't know if Demon would consider me a friend. I mean, I would consider Demon a friend, but hey, I'm not gonna make it one-sided. But regardless, I asked Demon to bring me a couple that I feel that he feels that should be addressed in a video. So here we go. So first one was, first off, the character customization. Because there was apparently a lot of people talking about this. Personally, character customization, I don't think that it's bad. I don't think that the character customization is bad. I think this is a good take on it because again, like let's say you get a skin, we get skins that look absolutely ass. Maybe those ass skins would look better if you just put different items on them. You know what I say? So yeah, I that's my opinion on the character customization situation. By the way, technically that these are just now my takes too, because they're like kind of being brought to me as a question. So these are kind of my takes now in situations on a certain thing. So do you think that survivors who require the killer to excel or for your team to fail are weaker and unviable? For example, Becca and Cronsby, Anais, survivors like that. I don't think that they're unviable. I just think that they're situational. All right, that's my thing. Because again, they're relying on an aspect in the game to happen. Meaning they become extremely situational in other aspects. Let's take Becca, for example. Becca relies on the killer to actually down people. You could go a whole match with getting no stacks or not a lot of stacks, and then it renders your perk kind of useless because you kind of have to rely on your teammates getting down. You have to rely on the killer doing pretty good. So I feel like it just makes the perks extremely situational. I don't think it makes them bad, just too situational for situations to, like, you know, like I said before with Anais, I've had matches as Anais where I've never gotten my perk off once because the killer quite literally just never does, like, kicks them or any fucking thing, you know. So yeah, that's my take on that one. So the next one that was brought to me was, who do I think is better, Warden or Slasher? Okay, so I personally think that they got their two. Honestly, I can't specifically say one. I feel like they both got their two, like, different, like, aspects. Like, they both are practically the same thing. They're basically the same person, just do different things. So, and they're both good. I would say, like, on a standpoint though, I would pick Warden every single time over Slasher for a couple of reasons. One, Warden is much easier than Slasher. Two, you don't have to directly hit them for the ability, but the ability, not only that, is practically instant. It's quite literally instant anyways. So you can hit them with the slow instantly, do it transitions, and also on top of that, I would pick him because he's more similar to Empress. Empress is shutting down transitions. His ability is good during transitions. I'm just more used to something like that. I feel like he's easier to pick up. His slow is better, and he actually has a usable passive, okay? His passive is definitely way more usable than Slasher's passive. So I guess when it comes to value, I would say Warden all the way. Warden definitely has more value over Slasher, but Slasher has the better kill potential in general. So it really just depends on your type of playstyle, in my opinion. I feel like you could make arguments for both sides. Like, quite literally, I feel like arguments could be made for both sides on who's better. I personally would just pick Slasher because I'm more comfortable. I said Slasher, I meant Warden. I personally would pick Warden because I'm just more comfortable with Warden. And so now getting into the last one, my thoughts on the pro servers. Okay, so there were some that I did skip, Demon. I know you're gonna know that, but I just skipped them for other reasons. I might come back to them in another time, but I just kind of skipped them for different reasons. But getting into the pro servers, I like it. I think though that Brenda's little thoughts and, like, actions on it is just not it. I personally feel like Brenda just doesn't want to say they're competitive servers, because then that would mean that she has to gear the changes a lot towards us. I just feel like that's really why she doesn't want to say it. But, like, whenever she did say that a level 50 can be better than a level 1000, I'm just like, girl, okay, well then that level 50 smurfing. Because, like, you can be, like, here's my thing. There's a difference, like, your level doesn't determine skill, but it does determine game sense, like how long you've actually been playing the game for. So you could play Dead by Daylight, you could be like the best Dead by Daylight player in the game, right? But then you'll come to Daybreak and those skills won't show off, because it is, at the end of the day, a different game. It is different, and it has different map layouts, all that stuff. They're good at that game because they've learned the map layouts and all that stuff and have different game sense and know how to go against each and every killer. In this sense, they don't know how to go against each and every killer. They don't have the game sense. They don't have the map knowledge. They don't have the mechanical skill. They don't know as much as someone like me or Ancient or any of the other higher up people who've been playing this game for a while. They don't know as much as we know. So at the end of the day, they can be quote unquote good, have some skill, but they'll never achieve the same mechanical sense for a while, and until they play the game a lot more. So no, I disagree heavily on that statement that a level 50 will be better than a level 1000. If they are smurfing. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You're smurfing. You quite literally are lying. So I personally think these pro servers, I'm not gonna call them competitive servers because they are pro servers. But if you really did feel like a level 50 could be better than a level 1000, then you really wouldn't want to need to make that server. Okay, Brenda, let's just be real here, hun. But anyways, those are my takes on those situations. I did my takes. I read through your takes. Depending on how much y'all like this. So if you've made it to the end, I should have put this at the start. I'm probably gonna make a little snippet real quick at the start saying this, that, the third, you'll know, whatever. If you've made it this far, please in the comment section before or after your comment, write down if you want me to continue this series. If you guys want me to continue this series, I'll do a part 2 and I'll make it longer and I'll include a lot more of your guys' hot takes. I just feel like it didn't need to. Obviously, this motherfucker's finna be like 30 minutes. I'm literally looking at it right now. This mug's finna be 30 minutes. But I won't necessarily be longer than 30 minutes, but I'll get way more of your guys' points in as much as possible. It's just my first time doing it, and I wanted to test the waters with it. So y'all tell me what y'all think about it. And again, if you want your hot take mentioned in here, drop down into that description and join the Discord. Yes, and you could be featured in this one just like the rest of these other people were. Anyways, thanks for making it this far. Love y'all to the ends of the earth, day in, day out. Bye bye, and see you guys later.